he may, much like Vladimir Putin thinks dragging Ukraine back into Russia is his legacy, it's very possible Xi Jinping thinks dragging Taiwan back into China's orbit fully will be his legacy.
We were expecting this, weren't we?
Well, we were. China warned that it was going to happen. They safely waited until Pelosi was out because nobody wants that kind of confrontation. But what they're doing now, they plan a 4-day live fire exercise, which is twice as long as her actual visit, and is in a sense a blockade of um, Taiwan. I mean, and so it is a moment of real tension, I think. I mean, no one was going to challenge each other militarily while Pelosi was on the island, but now there is a risk of confrontation because the Chinese are surrounding Taiwan. They're going to be firing missiles close to Taiwan. They're going to be edging into Taiwan's territorial waters, which is only 10 miles away. So some people see this as practice for an invasion to come down the road, who knows when. Others just see it as China digging around for something that looks really intimidating because it feels it has to do something.
And what about the people on the island? They must be used to this. There are so many parallels between Ukraine and Russia, because when we were talking to the Ukrainians before Russia actually invaded, they were quite blasé about it. They said, well, they've been doing this for years. They've been doing this since 2014. And they weren't saying that it wouldn't be a problem, but they were just like, we are used to it, and what's going to happen is going to happen. What's your understanding of how the people of Taiwan feel about China's actions?
Well, first, let's make the point that unfortunately the Ukrainians were wrong, that their complacency was misplaced. The Taiwanese have the same kind of complacency, but I think it's better founded in this case. China is always trying to intimidate Taiwan, but this is, a stronger exercise than anything since something like 1996. So the Taiwanese don't believe that Chinese mainland is ready to invade them, but they can hear it, they can feel it. The Chinese military has been practicing, it's been buying stuff designed just for this purpose. And part of that purpose is to deter the United States from coming to the aid of Taiwan if an invasion should eventually happen. So everybody's watching this with a great deal of care. The US has a carrier group nearby, the USS Ronald Reagan, it's called. Maybe Liz Truss would like that. And I expect after the Chinese exercises end finally in 4 days, perhaps the American carrier will go through the straits to show everyone that the US still cares. There's a lot of symbolism in all of this, but the symbolism is backed up by live missiles and bombs.
Yeah. What kind of stuff have they been buying specifically?
Buying.
You said that China have been buying stuff,
Oh,
presumably
yes, of
weaponry.
course. Sorry. I mean, they've been building anti-ship missiles. They've been building short-range cruise missiles. They have been practicing landings, and all of it seems designed both to work out an invasion, if it should ever happen, but also to make sure that they can keep US ships away, partly through very accurate anti-ship missiles that they've been developing in real earnest.
You said that China are not ready yet to do this, to invade, take over, absorb Taiwan, whatever you want to call it. When do you think? Do you think this is definitely going to happen? And if so, within what kind of timescale?
Well, I don't know, of course. I mean, the ideal is that one country, two systems. That was always the plan. But the way China's behaved in Hong Kong makes Taiwan think one country, two systems a bit hollow. Now, the problem is Xi Jinping, who's about to get reconfirmed for a third term and maybe become Xi Jinping for life when everyone's studying Xi Jinping thought. Xi Jinping has promised that Taiwan would be integrated into China by 2050. Now, how that happens, we don't really know. I don't think he knows. But this is his intention. And that's not terribly far away, to be honest. So we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he may, much like Vladimir Putin thinks dragging Ukraine back into Russia is his legacy. It's very possible Xi Jinping thinks dragging Taiwan back into China's orbit fully will be his legacy. This is the danger of authoritarians deciding, for themselves what's going to happen.